Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the MMA Huddle. Thank you for joining us all. And if you can, hit that subscribe button at the bottom of your screen, right down there. That would be fantastic to start things off with. Give us a follow. Every time the podcast goes out or any interviews go out, you'll get notifications so you can tune in. Also, if you can, throw a comment down below, join the conversation. Let us know your picks. Let us know why you think someone's going to win if we pick someone else. Or if you have any bets that are going on, let us know who you put down. And we're happy to talk about what bets you've got on this week. And obviously later on, Will will give his picks, his bets for the week for this upcoming card, which has got Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez kicking off. So we've just been down under, Will. Now we're going over to Phoenix. Interesting card, my friend. Are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, no, it's a good card. We're just saying it's going to be on a Sunday night, which is crap for you, good for me because I'm off on a Monday and you're not. But especially coming off the card we had, not that it was a bad card in Australia. It wasn't named. A lot of the names on there you don't really know as well as you do, especially in this one here. And it's just a really solid fight card. They're on big ESPN, I think, for the first time, and got a great main event. They've got good fighters scattered all the way throughout the card. You've got some youngsters coming up that we don't know much about. And it's a really good card. Really looking forward to actually kind of watching it. And ESPN, I think I'm nailing it by putting it on earlier. It's going to be on, I think the main card starts at 1 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. That's a massive, massive difference. So fair play to ESPN. They're kind of doing all right by me to start off with this. And we've got some big news kind of for British MMA and European MMA and just world MMA with Bellator. Finally, they got a TV deal over here. So that, like, I've always wanted to be invested in Bellator, but 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning trying to find a stream has been rough for years, and I've not really kind of watched as much Bellator as I would like. But now I'm definitely going to watch all the events because I've got Sky. I'll record them. Might not watch all of them, but I'll record a lot of them and watch them in the morning. But big news, and then obviously Bellator Europe last night. Really good show. Cage Warriors. It's going to be a good year, I think, for MMA. I'm really looking forward to the year ahead with it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Cage Warriors, KSW, and Bellator, or as people are calling it, Bamator.
Bamator.
Glorified.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, glorified Bellator, glorified Bama. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though apparently rumors was some people were trying to, within Bama's company, so to speak, were saying that they're not dead, and I was like, you are, because there's no one around to sign. So what are you going to do? You got no roster. Anyhow, so even Tom Watson signed over to Cage Warriors.
Yeah, surprise.
I know, yeah. Weird that. I'm surprised that. So I thought he might have just stayed retired and went, but can't bothered with it. Because it'll be interesting what kind of deal you get to them. But anyway, we're going to kick off the Phoenix card. I'm going to start down the bottom and we'll work our way up as always. So we're going to start off with Alexandra Albu against Emily Whitmire. Kick off, Will, with these two ladies.
This was one of the ones that actually caught my eye really, really quick for the simple reason that I saw the betting lines, and sometimes I go off betting lines and sometimes I don't when I decide to watch fights. And because it's weird now, I think because they're announcing all these cards and like there's betting lines out for I think April cards and March cards, so they're putting a lot of lines out early, so you're getting to see a lot of kind of line movement. So I saw this and I saw Amy Whitmire as an underdog, and automatically think of Alexandra Albu's fights, and she doesn't look good, let's be honest, but she's a physical specimen. I think she's definitely got power. She's super, super strong, but she's just a young fighter. We were talking about this beforehand. We don't know what kind of record she's actually got. UFC are saying one thing, other places are saying other things. So that's interesting. You watch her fights, and like she's got no defense, but she is big. She's powerful, and she hits, I want to say, fairly hard. And I was liking Emily Whitmire really to kind of start off where I thought after a performance against Jamie Moyle, where I thought she was really good in that one. Kind of outstruck her, took her to the mat and really, I don't want to say dominated her, but she won in that aspect of the fight, fought in the third round when she got the takedown. But I don't think she's ever been hit as hard as what Albu will hit her with. I think once Albu hits her one time, she'll realize, oh shit, this girl can hit. she's not going to take her down because Kylie Curran tried it. I know Kylie Curran's whatever, but she tried and she just got shit whipped. She got thrown to the ground and had no opportunity even close to getting a takedown in that fight. So I just think it's a matter of if she can get her to the ground and maybe keep her there, I'd maybe pick Whitmire, but I don't think, even if she gets it there, I don't think she's strong enough to keep her there. So I think Alexandra Albu is going to hit her with a shot, and it's going to instantly put the guard up of Whitmire. And I see it being sloppy. I see it being 15 minutes. I see Whitmire being having enough heart to kind of stick in for the 15 minutes. But I've kind of changed my pick initially from Whitmire over to Albu, and I'll pick her via a decision. But I think it could be very, very kind of sloppy and scrappy. But I'll go with a kind of more powerful fighter who I think hits harder and just hard to get down and control a wee bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines as you. What I saw in the Jane Mole fight is that she was a lot shorter, so Emily had an advantage where she was taller, longer. She can keep her away, and Jamie was kind of offering just an overhand kind of thing because to try and get over that defense that Emily had. So there wasn't much on her end. She's had a lot of karate fights. That was Albu's kind of background with martial arts. That was her forte. But as we saw, comes in the third round, she really gasses big time. And that's a bit of a concern because she's so jacked. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm following on social media, and that girl has got a bum like two coconuts. It's like they don't move an inch. There's not a wibble or a jiggle. It's solid. But with all that muscle, you have to have conditioning, and that's the kind of thing you're giving up one or the other. So a 5-round fight for her would be horrendous. But she's fighting someone like Emily who's not a high level. It suits her to the ground. Albu needs to be a bit more active. I know that there was some kind of dispute or some kind of problem she had with Russia, with training out of Russia or representing Russia or something like that. I couldn't understand it all because I'm not very good at Russian. So what I could kind of get the gist of, there was some issues with her being based somewhere. She had to move a little while back. This is going back maybe 4 or 5 months, 6 months ago, so before she got a fight booked. So hopefully that's all sorted out for her. But yeah, with Albu, I just see it. Say she's got a good 1-2. That's something about it. That comes from the karate. That will be, she'll have a good 1-2 pop. I just wish she'd add a little bit more to it. Leg kicks would be nice to add it to it. Just spice things up a little bit. I think she could really get a good leg kick in when she throws her 1-2s because she does have good pop, and that would make you get your hands up, take your awareness away from the legs. But I think she'll get a couple of 1-2s, land some heavy shots, drive Emily to the cage, just grind away at her. Decision win, Albu. I don't see much else more in that fight. Next up, the schedule I've got here. I've got returning back after her USADA suspension is Jessica Penne against Jodie Esquivel. And both of these women are not having the best times. Even before Jessica's exclusion from the UFC with suspension, she was having the best times. And Jodie as well seemed to just not transfer that kind of groove from Invicta to UFC. There was at first we thought it was Octagon Jitters at first, didn't we? So that was something that kind of came to light, and then after seeing her compete again, it's just something missing. I don't know what it is. It absolutely could be something in the gym, could be something at home. We don't know. What we see in Invicta, the gulf in the women's division in Invicta and UFC, it isn't that great. It isn't huge. So there shouldn't have been such a difference for her. But in this fight here, one thing I see with Jessica is 2 years out of the game. I know she'll have taken a little break off at the start and she would have got back to training, but she lost to Danielle Taylor. Now, that says it all, really. She lost to a girl that you shouldn't be losing against. Not a lot of head movement, not a lot of good footwork. One thing Jodie has got, she's got good boxing. Like, Jodie's got good boxing. Nice hands, nice, smooth, good hands. I think Jessica's going to get a face popped here. Just easy work for Jodie. I think decision win, maybe, because Jessica can take an absolute drumming. Look at the JJ fight. Like, Jessica is tough. She can take an absolute pasting, and she will not quit. Like, the referee had to pull her out. But I'm going with Jodie here. 3 rounds. Jodie's had a little bit of a break, but I got Jodie winning, beating Jessica, because Jessica 100% she's going to be off the pace. She's definitely going to have a bit of ring rust. She will not show something that's going to blow our minds. I'm going Jodie. Decision win, pretty convincing. You might even see a 30-26 thrown in there.
I'm picking Jodie as well. I'm not picking Jessica Penne in a UFC fight. I really shouldn't be picking. To be honest with you, I'd rather not pick either girl in a UFC fight. I don't think they're all that great. But when you look at the fights that Jessica's had, she's been bludgeoned in 2 fights. Jessica Andrade, Joanna absolutely ripped her, and it was pretty horrid to watch. She took some devastating beatings in those losses, and then came and faced Danielle Taylor. Say what you want about Danielle Taylor, she's really awkward to face because she's not an engaging fighter. She'll hit and move, and she's hard to kind of pin down in any aspect of the fight. So, and she lost that one, and I think she's had a USADA suspension, hasn't she? So. 18 months reduced for DHEA supplement on a physician's recommendation. So she popped for something. I'd rather go with the fighter who I think's got more volume as well. I think Jodie's got a lot more volume, and I got burned by Jodie Escobar last time because she was against Jessica Aguilar. And I thought that was going to be pretty convincing for Jodie, and I lost money on that. No, I don't think I'll be betting Jodie in this spot, but I'm going to pick her. I'm going to pick her via 29-28. Might be close in some of the rounds, I think, but I'll go 29-28 for Jodie Escobar.
Next up in we're going to say bantamweight division, but we can't guarantee it. Renan Barao, depending on what he wants to turn up as, against Luke Sanders. And he's like this. Let's put it this way: this is the prelim main event, like bottom of the fight past prelim main event. Renan Barao, who was king of the kings, who was top dog. You just seen that plate fall down. You seen that plane it just fall apart. Luke Sanders, man, and even Luke Sanders, isn't a great name. I'm surprised Barao's getting another stab at this, but go on and let's see what you got for this.
I mean, it's 2 fighters here that you cannot trust to even pick to win a fight, and that's scary saying that against a former UFC champion. I think it was February 2014 he beat Faber, was regarded as one of the pound for pound best, and now he lost in Brazil to Andre Ewell in his last fight, who, in my opinion, and I shouldn't be disrespecting fighters. I'm not disrespecting fighters, but he's not a good. I don't think he's a UFC caliber fighter, in my opinion. But he came in and he beat Barao in Brazil. Crazy. Luke Sanders, I think he's better than what he's shown. Honestly, I really think he's a lot better than what he's shown. But he's made some very questionable decisions in his fight. The Alcantara fight, he hurt him. Then got submitted. Sukumtath looked good in the first round, got caught in the second. Patrick Williams had his spots in that fight where he gave Williams a little bit too much kind of opportunity to even stay in that fight, and then Rani Yahya he got submitted. So I'm not going to pick. I said after the Andre Ewell fight, because I picked Renan Barao there, I thought I'm not picking Renan Barao ever again. And then he gets Luke Sanders, and you're like, But with Renan, starts well, fades really badly. I think that at least Luke keeps a pace throughout 15 minutes. So it might be a little bit sketchy to start off with. If he doesn't get hit with a big shot, I think as the later rounds come in, I think Luke will just have too much for Barao. We'll hit him with more shots. We'll just be in better condition going into those later rounds. And it has to be that if Barao loses this, there's no way I don't think they can keep this guy around because I'm sure he probably gets quite a bit of money off the UFC. I'm sure they could get him off the books and get some other fighters in cheaper than that. So I'll go Luke Sanders. I'll go via decision. Maybe even a knockout stoppage in the 3rd round. But I feel, it's really bad to say, but I feel more confident picking Luke Sanders than Renan Barao.
It's horrible what to pick. It is, isn't it? I was watching the tape, and I was trying to find. I tell you what, I was trying to find. I was trying to find that fire in Barao in the last few fights. I was trying to look for those moments in the fights where I could see it in him again, and that's where I'm failing. I can't see that fire in him. I don't know about you, but like, it's just, you know, when they get hit, when stuff isn't going their way, you can still see that urge, that urgency that they're going to win. You know, there's that determination. Right. Barao is a confidence fighter. It's clear as day that is what he is. He is a confidence fighter. He needs everything to go on smooth and happy, and he's in good place. He's not. He's not. I don't think I'd put Aldo. Like, Aldo and him obviously train together and work together. He's not the same mindset as Aldo. Like, Aldo's got a different mindset. Aldo's got that, you know, one of the great mindsets, like championship mindset, can come back, adversity, doesn't faze him, gets on with it. Barao just can't get off. It's like he's stuck in 2014. Luke Sanders, poor fight IQ. That's the problem with this kid. It's almost like he rushes when he thinks he's got something to take advantage of when he's winning. It's like he rushes into something, and he just runs into the unknown. Where it's just keep doing what you're doing. Like, you're winning by doing something. Don't go and change it. Don't just, like, I don't know, go scatty. Just keep consistent. I want to go 20-20 now. I want 29-28. I think Barao could win the first round because I think Sanders sounds silly, but, like, you know, you could be a bit starstruck facing Barao. You know, it's that, holy shit, that's Henan Barao facing. And you know, he is dangerous, Barao. He is still potentially got stuff in him that can catch him out. I think Sanders just got to be careful on the ground. If he gets to the ground, be careful, because Barao has got submissions. He has got grappling side of things where he can catch you. I think if Sanders can just be smart, pick away at him, couple of takedowns, 29-28. I see Sanders walking away. And then Barao maybe getting cut, because it'll be the best thing for Barao, getting cut by the UFC. If he goes somewhere else, start fresh, best thing for him. Next up, we have in the lightweight division, we have Scott Holtzman against Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz is, I don't want to say on the decline, but he's on the decline, is the best way to put it. And I'm a bit stuck on where he goes, and I think Nick Lentz knows that too. He's not going to get a shot at the belt. He's not going to get a shot at the belt. Especially at this part of his career. He beat Gray Maynard, which, yeah, no one cares last time out. But he's being, you know, he's losing to guys that are better than him. It's as simple as that. And Scott Holtzman is a guy who's, you don't know if Scott's better than him. Like, I would kind of put Nick and Scott similar. So the pair of them have got to fight for a takedown. Who's going to get a takedown win? That's a big fight there. They're both not on the best side of their ages. I think they're both mid-30s. But I think Scott's got the confidence. You know, Scott is building that confidence up. He's on a good run. Scott's always in phenomenal shape, though, isn't he? If you notice that, he is. Like, it could be DNA. It could be like a Sage Northcutt where he's got just good DNA. You've seen Sage's brother as well and sister. They're just phenomenal condition. Yeah. Like you and I, Will. Like you and I. Yeah. And I just think Scott's always in great condition, and Nick Lentz always just looks a bit loose. It's weird, isn't it? Like, when he gets on the scales, he's good, but then when he gets in the cage, he's like, let's look a bit loose, mate. What's going on? But you know, it's just obviously the wrestling style, you know, cut load. I'm going to go Scott. It's a hard one to pick this because I'm not overly confident on either one of them. I just think Scott's got one thing he's got is momentum. He's got confidence in him. I think Nick, with that, he's hit and miss. You know, he's winning some, losing some. I think Scott could catch Nick with a lot of strikes and just get the grappling. I think Scott could get Nick down a bit and just win on the grappling exchanges a little bit. Yeah, even though both parties are never going to get a lightweight belt shot, they're just in it they're just kind of gatekeepers for that division. And I probably wouldn't be surprised if by the end of 2019, one or both of them are out the UFC. But yeah, I'm going to go Scott decision. Not overly confident pick, but I've got to pick someone.
I'm with you on the Scott Holtzman pick. I actually think his performance last time was the best we've seen him. So fighters I like that are ascending, I think he's definitely one of those guys that is ascending at the minute. I think he looks really good. He looks very comfortable. He's fighting at home here. And home is, I mean, he trains out at the lab. I know he's from Tennessee, but he puts in all his work at the lab in Arizona. One of my favourite places in the whole entire world. I was over in Arizona for a few years, and it's just a great place, good people. And he's coming off, I think, the best performance that he's shown against Alan Patrick, who is horrible to fight because he's hard to look good against. But he looked good in every single facet of that fight. Really super impressed with what I've seen of Hot Sauce last time out. Completely outstruck Alan Patrick. I thought that was going to be close. I thought there might be a couple of takedowns by either guy there, and it might be a close split decision. He beat the living breaks out of Alan Patrick and then got that finish. Nick Lentz, I mean, who did he get? Gray Maynard last time?
Yeah.
I mean, Gray Maynard in 2018. Come on. But he is gritty. He is tough. He's a veteran of the sport. A lot of experience, been in the UFC for the longest time. But when he's facing, not that Scott Holtzman's a younger guy, but these kind of newer kind of type fighters, he's from the old day kind of wrestling background. I think his striking is definitely getting better, Lentz. But I think
he's training with Henry Hoof, I think, for striking.
Right. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's been doing that. So it has been getting better. I just think that Scott Holtzman's better striker. So I think Lentz is going to want to try and mix up and maybe get takedowns and try maybe catch a submission. Holtzman's hard to even stop. I don't even think he's been stopped in his UFC tenure. So I think if this fight plays out over 15 minutes, I like Scott Holtzman. I think that he'll just have more output. I think he'll land the bigger, harder shots. But it'd be interesting to see if Nick Lentz can maybe establish a takedown game. I don't think he is going to. I don't see it. I think it's going to be predominantly a stand-up fight. I think the better stand-up fighter right now is Scott Holtzman. Like I say, I think that Lentz is getting better with his striking. I just think Holtzman's better at this point in time. Maybe go back when Lentz was back in the lightweight division a few years ago, whatever that was. It might be a different story, but I like Scott Holtzman in this one here, and I'm going to pick him via a UD.
Nice, okay. Next up, buddy. Two ladies, another pair of ladies fighting on this card. Quite a few ladies on this fight card, to be honest with you, compared to what we usually have. Ashlee Smith taking on Andrea Lee. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, interesting. Like I've taken some crap online regarding Andrea Lee because I don't think she's like. There's some people out there that think she's a UFC champion in weight, and I'm like, no, I'm not one of those guys. I actually quite enjoy watching her fight. I think she's kind of well-rounded. She's good, very good striker, but she's got some really good submissions as well, and she's got a bit of wrestling, which she has shown in her UFC fights. But that is her only UFC fight. Sorry, is Veronica Macedo, who kind of gives you the opportunity to get takedowns and get into positions of dominance. I thought Macedo would give her problems. Never really gave her any problems whatsoever. She got outstruck, she got taken down. She got a guard pass so many times there. Ashlee Smith, she's come off the win over Beck Rollins away back in. Geez, that's a wee while ago. That's over close to a year ago now. So, but she took her down there, landed a lot of kind of ground and pound, outstruck her in the feet. So her striking's definitely getting better. She comes from a wrestling background, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of game plan she uses. I think I'm going to pick Andrea Lee here to win via submission. I think that she's going to leave an arm in there. She's going to get a neck tape. That Andrea Lee will get in there. not as high as what a lot of other people seem to be. But I think she wins this fight. I think she wins via stoppage. So if not, I think a fairly dominant decision. But I'll go submission early round number 3.
Okay, stoppage Lee. I've got Lee as well, and one of the reasons is I'm not seeing much progression from Ashlee Evans-Smith. I know she beat Bec Rawlins, but I still don't see Bec Rawlins as an accomplishment in MMA, in a victory. I was never overly keen on Bec Rawlins. Never saw anything in her that made me go, she's got something about her. She was purely in the UFC because it was tough, whatever, and because of numbers. It's the only reason. She was just there for numbers. But when Ashlee Evans-Smith started, I saw like a grittiness about her. You know, she is a dogged fighter. Would just literally, you know, she had bits around needed rounding off to tidy up a game, but I've just not seen enough in like progression for me. Anyway, I feel a fighter who's been in the UFC for like as long as she has, she should be far more superior than she is. You know, you look at the girls who've been in the UFC for as long as her. For example, like Pennington, I think. You know, look how much better Pennington's got in the time that she's been in. You know, I don't see enough out of Smith. Andrea Lee, I know I've interviewed her, so I'm not putting any slight biases in it, but she's had a rough time outside of the sport. She came back, showed she can fight through adversity, got in there, got the win against Machado. She's got Smith. Like you said, Will, she's got striking. She knows what to do with the wrestling side of things. And she made a big effort on the wrestling. You know, really put a bit of effort in the wrestling to train that and tighten up a little bit more. And the submission game is something like, if you look back at Invicta FC fights, whenever she does get down, she's not a slouch. She's not a girl just that'll hold on. I'm going to go with Andrea Lee. I think Evans is tough, though. I think she has got, she's got a tough noggin. She can't take a licks. And I think Lee's going to take decision win, 30-27. I think she's going to win with just landing the better strikes, cleaner strikes, and it will take a toll. There might be an exchange of takedowns between the parties, but I think overall Lee will get a decision win. Next up, we have in the bantamweight division, Benito Lopez against Manny Bermudez. It's not Combate Americas, it's the UFC. Man, this is going to be an interesting one because I'm surprised that Manny got given Benito. I would have thought Manny would have got someone higher up in those UFC rankings. I don't know about you, how you feel about it, Will. And it's not a gripe on Benito either. You know, Benito's a good competitor, absolutely. One thing I'm going to talk about the faults I see in Benito Lopez. He's wild. He is wild. And his wildness isn't, it sounds weird. It's okay to be wild if you know what you're trying to achieve. I feel he just acts out with like that flying knees, etc. a bit too often. So then it doesn't become a surprise. It becomes a predictable movement. It becomes, if you hit Benito, if you rock him, you know, if you get anything close to him, he then will come at you with something wild. Well, that's great. You're giving me signals. You're telling me what's going to happen. Why not in the fight at some random point you do that when no exchanges are happening, when nothing's going to hurt? Do something wild. I think he's a bit too wild, so he leaves himself open for counters, for people to figure him out how to maybe challenge his wildness. Sorry, folks. I'm going to have a drink of water here. Sorry about this. I kind of lost my voice on Thursday, and it's still coming back to me now, so I'm trying to fight through it. Sorry about that. Too much cock down my throat. Anyway, but Manny, he's improving his striking. That's all he needs to do. Evolve his striking, just get his striking a bit better and a bit better all the time. Gets to the ground. This is Manny's world. He's so damn good on the ground. And sorry, folks. Benito should have the advantage on the feet, but I think Manny should be able to see that Benito is open to get down. He is there to be taken down because his striking leaves him open to the opportunity of takedowns. Sorry again. I am going to go with Manny Bermudez, submission win. First or second round. I think you can get him first, second round, mate.
I like the matchup. I do. I actually like the matchup. I think that it's not a bad matchup to kind of make right now. We love Manny Bermudez. Manny was the coolest guy in Liverpool last year. Couldn't have gave up any more of his time.
Sorry, I've got to go. You talk.
That's fine. Like I say, we spent a lot of time with Manny in Liverpool last year. Super cool guy. Shame about his fight getting scratched a couple of days. I think it was right before the weigh-in, so that was a little rough. But when you look at the skill sets here, like John said, Benito is a little bit wild. But I think he's one of these guys that's going to make big improvements in between fights. Still a young guy, comes from a great camp, training with very, very good people. So I expect his game to kind of move in stages and be better than what we've seen before. And what we've seen before was a very close fight with Albert Morales. Manny beat Albert Morales. He came out there, he absolutely ran through Davy Grant. I think on the feet, if he can keep it on the feet, Benito, I think those wild exchanges could maybe throw Manny off a little bit. So I think that's what Benito will kind of look to do is be on the feet, just be the more kind of dominant fighter, and try and be the kind of boss of that kind of thing. But Manny is a guy who I think is definitely improving striking wise, because we know what his ground game's like. He's very opportunistic. Showed that against Davy Grant, and there was some false confidence in Davy Grant with a few people that I spoke with in Liverpool. They thought he had a chance, and he pulled out, I think it was staph infection he got, and I'm like, no, Manny's a really, really good fighter. He's still young in the game. He come up in the kind of New York, Boston kind of era, I think it is. So
Cage Titans.
Yeah, and some of his wins weren't overly great against great competition, but since he's come into the UFC, he's won a couple of fights and he's looked very good. I'm interested in this one. I think Benito Lopez, if he can establish on the feet early, this could be really interesting. Because I've got high hopes for Benito Lopez in the UFC, and I obviously like Manny a lot. So I'm kind of really going back and forward in this. I'm not looking at the betting lines. He's a minus 250 favourite, and I'm like, I don't think he should be as big a favourite over Benny, as big as that. I can maybe see 175 minus 200. But I'm going to pick Manny Bermudez via decision. I think this is going to be really close. Pretty similar to the kind of Albert Morales fight, but I just think that they might have ground exchanges, and on those ground exchanges, I think the better fighter is Manny Bermudez. So I'll go Manny Bermudez. I'll go a split decision win for him, though.
Okay, nice. Sorry, folks. This is the longest I've talked consistently since Thursday, so I am putting my throat to the test here, and it's tapping out such a bitch-ass throat. Okay. Next up, we have great fight, though, Will. Jimmie Rivera against Aljamain Sterling. They've been talking. This fight's been meant to happen for so long. It's finally happening, but it's good. It's a good fight in the bantamweight division. It helps shape up perennial contenders again. Helps get the alignment going again. And I think, if I'm honest, one of these two could be coming up against Cody sometime soon. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the fight, though? You break that down.
See, I'm going to struggle a little bit with this one because hands up. I've always been a kind of big Aljamain Sterling fan, and I do think he's still got a lot to offer the division. But Jimmie Rivera's a hard guy to look good against, and I mean, he's been pretty. I was going to say he's been pretty dominant since he came into UFC way back in 2015. Beat good guys. I mean, Pedro Munoz, Uriah, Almeida, Alcantara, Dodson. They're all really good wins. And the only guy that's beat him in there is Marlon Moraes, and he is the king of that 135-pound division that's ready to. Not the king, but the guy that's ready, ascending to be the king in that division. He looks dangerous. He looks a man on a mission. And he got caught in the first 30 seconds of the fight, and that happens sometimes. If that fight goes 25 minutes, I think it could have been close. But Jimmie can get hit, and he can be hurt. Not saying that Aljamain's got the best striking. He's quirky, he's awkward, lengthy. He's just an awkward guy on the feet, and he's an awkward guy on the ground as well. And we've seen that last time out against Cody Stamann, where he caught him in that horrible, horrible submission. I think it was the calf crusher they called it. And it was a kind of nasty submission that he caught Cody Stamann in. But he got taken down a few times. He threw a few takedowns in there, but his passing game was brilliant and his control was brilliant. Not sure whether he can do that with Jimmie Rivera here. I think Jimmie's a good, solid, technical wrestler himself. I don't think himself into bad positions, can be caught in submissions, but I'm struggling with this fight a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I think that Jimmie is one of the toughest outs in that division, without a shadow of a doubt. I see this being close. I don't know. I think on the feet, if I see Aljamain fighting using his distance, because he is the longer kind of fighter, where Jimmie's going to have to get in close to unloading some shots, but he has got a lot of power and he can hurt you with those shots. I don't see a bit of interest. I want to see these two match up in the ground and see who's the better guy on the ground, because they're both quirky and they're both just good guys down there. So it's interesting to me. I see this being another close fight. I can see this being a split decision, possibly. And some people kind of really throwing some shade at Aljo, and some people do that after kind of the knockout that he received against Marlon Moraes, who, like I say, he's just a destroyer at the minute. I'm going to pick Jimmie. But honestly, I see this being another split decision. I see it being close. I see Aljo being having spells in this fight where he could be winning vast majority of the rounds. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. But no real confidence in the pick, I'll be honest with you. I think Aljo is a live fighter here.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's because I think they're both awkward fighters. They're both awkward dudes to fight against, because Aljamain, like you said before, he uses his length, but what he does is he throws kind of awkward strikes at you to keep you at range. So he's not throwing strikes to try and land. He's throwing long shots, because if you were to close in on it, he has a backup shorter punch to throw. So it's awkward with that, and he's got his wrestling. So what he's very smart about doing is, and that's what works for Aljamain, is that he has this long range that you've got to fight him with. He'll keep these long strikes because he makes you have to chase him down. Like, he forces you to come and close the gap down quick. And in doing so, it exposes you to the takedown. So as you're coming so fast in, he's able to shoot in for the takedown. So it's good. It's a smart technique. It's a smart method. And it absolutely works. Jimmie Rivera, though, he's tough dude. Like you said, man, he's got a lot of wins. You know, he's a very experienced fighter. Good work. He's got good wrestling, good grappling himself. I think Aljamain's more creative, though, when it comes to the grappling side of things. And that is where I see this slightly going in his favor. I think on the feet, Rivera can land the heavier shots. I think Aljamain can probably land a few more shots that can cause him a few more problems. But, yeah, it's hard. It's a tough one inside. I think that Aljamain... sorry. Need a moment. Need to take a senior moment. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, I think Aljamain can just be a bit more creative on the ground, so he can offer a bit more threatening moves, threatening potential submissions, etc. And I think this is where I think that's how he's going to take the win. I think he's going to offer a little bit more on the grappling, so he can keep the ground, keep the top game a bit more, take the points, earn those points for the 3 rounds. 29-28 decision, though. In fact, I'd even go as far as saying split decision. I think it's going to be a horrible fight to score, because I think Jimmie can land the harder strikes. I think Aljo can be more effective on the ground. It could be a case of who gets the takedowns. Could be a big factor in the round if it went to that, I think. But then again, I'm just going to go to split decision. Aljamain Sterling, and I'm only doing split, and I kept to and from between who to pick, but you kind of helped me with you picking Jimmie kind of helped me because I was honestly it was horrible. I was going to split decision for someone, and it's a horrible. It's a great matchup. That's when we say it's a horrible one to pick. That means it's a great matchup because it's so tight. That's what we want. That's what I want. This is what I like. I love it when these matches are made. When it's a one-sided shoe-in, it's not that fun to break down. It's not that fun to look at because it's quick and easy. It's boring. Kicking off the main, I suppose that's why I see why they made that in the main event on the ESPN prelims. Kicking off the main card, Andre Fili against Myles Jury in the featherweight division. Two dudes who are almost kind of alike. You know, similar-esque in body stature as well. Myles Jury himself, obviously getting knocked out by Chad Mendes is a bit of a tough one to have. Chad does hit like a freight train, as we know. Andre Fili, though, he's that ultimate potential star that never made it and never became a star. He just kept fading out when he was meant to get up there. And I keep feeling that way with Andre Fili. I keep feeling that way with him. I find it hard to put faith in him when it comes to picks. Because I'm never sure if Andre Fili's going to be the guy who could be what he is. And I think he's got a lot more in him than even he knew for years. I think it's just like, I don't know what it is. And obviously he fought Michael Johnson, lost split decision. A big factor of that one was speed. You know, Michael Johnson is a fast dude with striking, and one thing that catches people's eye is speed with Michael Johnson. I think you need 5 rounds with Michael Johnson. If you're not an NCAA first division wrestler, if you're not a high level wrestler like Khabib was, I think with Michael Johnson a bit of time and you start to get it. Myles Jury, though, I think he's got nice techniques. I think he's got good striking. But the thing is, on his ground game, I like his ground game as well. I know he got submitted by Charles Oliveira. Sorry about this cough again. Sorry, folks. I feel terrible for it. But I don't care if anyone gets submitted by Charles Oliveira. If you're not getting submitted by Charles Oliveira, it's random, it's rare. Charles Oliveira is a freak. But I got more confidence in Myles Jury. I know we got knocked out by Chad Mendes, but Andre Fili does not hit like Chad Mendes. So Myles Jury can be a bit more offensive and I think he's got more output, better, harder strikes. And on the ground, I think Myles Jury, if he went to the ground, I think Myles Jury would have the favourite. I think I'd put him down as a favourite there on the ground if they grapple. I'm going to go Myles Jury to the finish, if I'm honest with you. I'm going to go submission. I'm going to go rear naked choke, something like that. I'm going to go submission for Myles Jury. Second, third round, Myles Jury get the victory.
Yeah, I've always liked Myles Jury, but we just never see enough of him. He's like one of those guys that it's like, oh, he's fighting, and then you don't see him fight again for a little bit. And I thought he would have shown more in that Chad Mendes fight. Ultimately got hit with a big shot that was very early on. The one thing that I don't like about Myles Jury's volume, he hasn't got a lot of it. He's a very low volume striker. But I think overall as a fighter, he's a very good fighter. I think we just need to see a little bit more out of him. And he's getting to that age now where he's probably going to be in his prime, 30, 31 years old. So he needs to kind of show us what he wants to do in this featherweight division. Does he want to be a guy looking out in at the top 15 guys, or does he want to be in there fighting those top 15 guys? And I don't think he's that far off that. I see him as a top 20 kind of guy. Fili's a guy that I think has a lot of potential. I think that he's your classic win-loss fighter. But some of the fighters that he's lost to, I mean, Calvin Kattar, Yair Rodriguez, even Michael Johnson, Max Holloway, they're good fighters that he's losing to. I felt for him a little bit in that Michael Johnson fight. I thought he won that fight as well. But some people were saying that Dennis Bermudez beat him in the other split decision beforehand. I don't really agree with that. I think I want to be confident in Myles Jury. And I'm like you, I think he can actually get a stoppage because I think his jiu-jitsu is actually really, really good. And we have seen in the past that Fili puts himself in positions sometimes where he can get caught in submissions. The Godofredo Pepe loss was a bad one. I don't think Fili's the worst pick in the world. I'm going to go with Myles Jury via sub, though. It's just dependent. If Andre Fili shows up the way I think he can make it awkward. I think his volume can maybe win him the fight. But I just think he's going to make a mistake and he's going to play into the hands of Myles Jury a little bit and he's going to get taken down. And I think he's going to get submitted. So early on, I did like Fili. I've kind of changed that up over the last few days and I'm going to go with Myles Jury via submission in the second, third round.
Nice pick, man. Okay, so next up, we have Vincent Luque against Bryan Barberena. Well, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be violence. But, Will, where's the violence going to favour at the end?
Yeah, this is a good fight. And it's a tough fight for Vicente Luque. And I'm going to pick Vicente Luque to win this fight. I think overall, with all his techniques and his technique that he has with those other techniques or whatever, or skill sets that he has, I think he's the better overall fighter. But Bryan Barberena is no easy fight for anybody. And especially in this, this is the kind of fight that he kind of revels in, being a massive, massive underdog. Everybody's writing him off. He's fighting at home, so he's going to be fighting in front of friends and family, and you know it. So he's going to fight his ass off, but he's fighting a really super dangerous guy in every aspect of the game. Very fast combinations, very hard striker, good submissions, good takedowns, good smart IQ for the fight game. And you know what Bam Bam's going to do? He's going to come forward and look to throw a lot of output and try and make this a brawl. That's his best way to win the fight. But Vicente Luque, I think, is a far more smarter fighter than anything that Barberena's ever faced before. I think he will use the aggression that Bam Bam has. I think he'll hit him with a few shots, and then I think he'll be there to easily get taken down. And I think on the ground, I just think that Luque will be a level above. Luque is a really good fighter, and there's some people out there that still don't really know all that much about him, but he is a really solid fighter that is putting in nice wins. I mean, the Bilal Muhammad win was a beautiful knockout. Leon Edwards, there's no harm in losing to Leon Edwards, especially in London. It was a close-ish fight. I don't think that was the best Vicente Luque we've ever seen. Since then, beat Jalen Turner. He had a beautiful knockout last night. Charlie Priest stopped him in 1. Nico Price subbed him in 2, who's super awkward to fight. I just think that Bryan's maybe going to be super aggressive here, too pumped fighting at home. I think it's going to play in the hands of Vicente Luque. But never rule out Bryan Barberena at odds like yes, like mine at plus 285, plus 300, because he's did that in the past. Sage Northcutt, I think he was plus 400 against him. So this guy kind of revels in that underdog kind of status. But I just think that Vicente Luque, I actually think, is the best fighter he's ever faced, along with Leon Edwards. But I'm going to pick Vicente Luque via submission round number 2, maybe early round number 3.
Yeah, I think Bryan had that kind of mystique where people kind of underrated him. I don't think that happens now. I think like, for example, people who are like, I'll put it this way, Will. People who are on Twitter thinking they know what the hell they're talking about when they've never stepped in the bloody cage or had someone punch him in the face. Those people go, Bryan Barberena, he's not that good. I'm like, look, he is good. He is a legit good fighter. He has got good striking. He has got good grappling. He's got a good combination of things. He'd smashed a lot of you. All right, so don't even start, folks. But Vincent Luque is a beast, man. And like, you and me are the same, man. We're fans of this kid, and he's an entertaining fighter. He's quicker. That is one thing. Speed kills in fights. Sage Northcutt should have used his speed and should have beat Bryan, but then again, he shouldn't have been fighting a welterweight. I think at welterweight, it just doesn't quite suit Sage in the UFC. But Bryan just weathered the storm, and that's all he had to do. with Vincent, no, Vincent Luque can still, like you say, he can still get stuff in the second and third round done. Bryan, I think it's going to be a submission win for Luque here. I think Bryan's going to be scrapping, strikes landed, and I think Bryan's going to shoot him for the takedown where he'll end up on the ground. And he'll give up something. He'll give something up. I think Vincent Luque will get something and take it home with him. I just think the striking, when it comes to the exchanges, I think Luque won't just be staying in the pocket to take the punches there from Bryan. I think he'll be able to land the strikes, though, cleanly and just really kind of frustrate Bryan to make Bryan force that takedown attempt because Bryan won't want to be taking shots all day, so he'll try to exchange some grappling or takedown. And I think Vincent Luque will get a submission win. I think he'll get it down and get out of the way there. But I think because he'll get that from hurting Bryan on the feet. Even though Bryan's a very, very tough welterweight, and I think Bryan's going to have there's some fun fights for him out there in the welterweight division. Hopefully, even after this, I hope he sticks around because I think there's going to be some absolute barn burners to stick him in with. And this is one of them. I think it's going to be a cracking fight. I'm going like second, third round for a submission here. I think we're going to get a cracking little scrap. Big time. Next up is a fight where we're going to see a Gracie potentially get a win in the UFC for a long time. Kron Gracie, son of Rickson Gracie, who was in a fantastic documentary, Choke. If you've not watched it, check it out. Fantastic. For people who followed UFC, for people who followed MMA when Conor McGregor joined the UFC, you want to watch Choke because it shows Rickson Gracie doing breathing techniques, yoga, movements, all this stuff, way about 20 years before Conor even started doing it. So just to give you all a lesson in MMA, Conor wasn't first. Let's look at this one, though. He's fighting Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres would be deemed and seen as a lamb to slaughter because of he's more or less a 500 fighter. Will, do you know what the odds are for this? Sorry, off the top of your head, mate. Do you know what they are?
Where was I looking? I was looking a little second ago, but it's disappeared. Let me go and see right now. Kron Gracie is a plus. He's a -350 favourite with the comeback on Alex Caceres plus 290, and I only see that widening throughout the week.
Okay,
so yeah,
that's big. That's big.
Yeah, he's a big one. UFC debut.
Yes, UFC debut. He's had a handful of fights against not bad opposition, not great, but not bad opposition. And Alex Caceres has been in the UFC for what feels like a lifetime, and had a hell of a lot of fights in the UFC against a plethora of challengers. So he's getting the hype train, Kron, straight away. First and foremost, people, this is a mixed martial art bout. This is not a grappling jiu-jitsu tournament. So people need to be careful when they look at this fight and think. Kron Gracie is very much like his dad with grappling. Traditional movements, traditional submissions, traditional fundamentals. Has an A-star rating with tradition, technique. But one thing we noticed, me and Will have noticed as well, we talked about it off air, he takes a bit of time to get people. You know, fought and risen, had 10-minute rounds, and then was eventually getting guys. In the UFC, you get 5-minute rounds. So that's one thing you got to take into consideration. Plus, the referees in the UFC, they're not overly keen if fights aren't going anywhere. So if it's static for a while in a certain position, they could potentially stand it up. But as well, he gets swept. Kron Gracie gets swept. People get up off him. So Kron might get it down. And the reason he gets it down is because he pulls guard. You got to be careful pulling guard in the UFC because the guys in that division in the UFC are wary of it. And ground and pound is the real thing. Getting punched in the face sucks. And Alex Caceres, he has got long limbs. So from Kron's perspective, that might be a nice thing for him. But what you got to remember is it starts on the feet. So he's going to close the gap. He's going to get in front of, he's going to get like this with Alex before you get him down. Alex is long. He throws kicks. He throws long punches. He's quick. Alex is quicker. Oh, way quicker than Kron is. Kron's quite slow with the footwork. Hand speed isn't fast. combinations aren't really there yet. He's more just it's almost like a brawler, dirty boxer, just to get the grappling exchange in. And even when he's in the clinch, he's not even that overly great. A lot of people are more wary of what he's trying to do. But for me, Alex is, he's dangerous on the feet. He's got to, if I'm Alex Caceres, I know I need to keep it on the feet. But I know when I'm on the feet, it's my world. Kron is going to have a rough time in my world, and I would do that straight away. I would pepper that jab for 15 minutes and jab the face off Kron, and it would absolutely wreck his day. I'm going to go out there, Will. I'm going to go with Alex Caceres. I'm doing it. I don't care, folks. You can take your odds. You can twist them and shove them up your bum. I'm going to go with Alex Caceres. The 500, the Artem Lobov, the original Artem Lobov, the 500 fighter, who everyone's going to write off. I'm going to go with the win. I think he can he could do it. He could win. He's shown moments in fights where you think, dang, that kid's good. He's got some skills. I think he's going to get the win, potentially decision win. But we've got to remember, every round is 5 minutes. So Kron doesn't get 10 minutes on the ground. So Alex survives 5 minutes, starts again on the feet. So he's always going to start on the feet so he can land damage. I'm going to go with Alex, decision win, even late stoppage with TKO. But I'm going to go crazy with Alex Caceres getting the win here.
This was literally one of the first things we talked about when we started talking earlier on. And I'm going to come out 100% and say I think that Alex Caceres has a chance to win this fight. There's a lot of people that are not giving the slightest bit of chance whatsoever. And I said to John earlier on as well, like the last few hours, I've really enjoyed sitting back and watching Kron Gracie jiu-jitsu matches. Really, there is a bout on there, I should say, 2013, Gary Tonin against Kron Gracie. Unbelievable bout that you should go back. It was back and forward. It was a really late stoppage from Kron Gracie, but it was a beautiful bout if you're a jiu-jitsu nut. Now I'm not. I love the art of jiu-jitsu. I don't really know it all that well, but if you're a fight fan and you watched it long enough, you can see what's like a beautiful thing to watch. And it was a thing of beauty. The positioning, the little nuances to get into certain positions, and it was just great fights to watch. Then obviously you move in to Kron Gracie's MMA career. First two fights, I'm not really going to get into them too much because they're against like 0-0 guys. So they're doing the right thing. They're building them up. Then he gets Hideo Tokoro, I should say. And he's been around for 15 years, a lot of fights. He's lost. I think he's won 33, lost 30. So the guy's got a plethora of fights. But I'm seeing people come out here and saying Alex Caceres is not going to last a minute with this guy. He's not going to stick around too long with this guy if it hits the mat. And that could be the case because Kron Gracie is an unbelievable talent on the ground. Hideo Tokoro is not great on the ground. He survived 9 minutes. He got his back taken. He still managed to get to his feet. He stupidly jumped back into the guard of Kron Gracie, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then he lost the fight with about 45 seconds to go in that first round. But there was times where, like you said, like he sweeped him, got into positions where he could have popped back to his feet and so on. Alex Caceres, I think, can do the same. There's going to be times when it's going to be squirrely with Alex Caceres, and he does get taken down a lot. You look through his UFC record and you watch his fights. Majority of his fights, he gets taken down. Martin Bravo took him down 3 times. Rolando D took him down. Jason Knight took him down. Yair Rodriguez, who's not really a takedown artist, took him down. Cole Miller, Francisco Rivera took him down. Like the list, I could go on. Kanahara, Uriah Faber. I could go on with the amount of people that have taken this guy down. And what Kron Gracie is going to do, he's going to win a blitz. Just get hold of it and he will pull guard. You watch his fights, his MMA fights, he does that. He throws a big left hand, which is interesting. Trains with the Diaz brothers, so his boxing's got to be fairly half decent, you think. But you know he's not going to win a stand and bang. You know exactly what he's going to do. He's a Gracie by heart, and you know what the Gracies do. They don't stand up and throw. They want to get the fight to the ground. It's what the Gracie family is all about. But I do think Alex Caceres is a live dog in this fight. I think if he doesn't fight stupid, realizes that this guy, yep, he's better than me on the ground, and if I give him opportunities, he will find a submission. But if I can fight smart, don't get caught up, don't get tangled up, keep it in the feet, don't engage with this guy, which is easier said than done against Gracie. And just last, because like we're kind of speaking at this beforehand as well, Gracie's kind of not your Charles Oliveira type fighter who will jump on submissions quick. He works kind of like a Gunnar Nelson, like I was saying. He will throw little shots to the body, even throw shots to the leg, just to get that little movement so you can open up a tiny position where he can find a submission. And if Kron Gracie does that, he will find something because he's a wizard on the ground. He really is. But this is a different sport. It starts on the feet. Caceres, I think he's long, he's languid, he's awkward, he's fine at home. He's from Arizona. He's from Florida, but fights out Arizona. So big, massive fight for him against a name. I just saw on Twitter there, this is going to be the matchup number 5,000 for the UFC, which is quite a weird one, considering the Gracies are a big name for the UFC and MMA in general, jiu-jitsu and whatever. So it's quite interesting that a Gracie's getting that honour. And yeah, if you've never seen Choke, go and watch that because it's a great watch as well. Like I say, I think that Alex Caceres has a chance here, more than what most people are giving him. I am going to pick Kron Gracie via sub. But I think Alex Caceres has got a chance, and the odds, I think the odds are only going to go further up for him. So a little throw on Alex Caceres is not a bad thing. I'll pick Kron Gracie, but I do think Alex has got a chance. I'm not writing him off like a lot of people are.
Following the hype train, going to Gracie sub. How dare you?
Yeah,
No, it's there's a high probability of that happening. You know, I don't think we want to see Kron Gracie throwing, spinning heel kicks. So yeah, unless he's been hiding that in his back pocket the whole time, just playing possum on the feet. But yeah, next up we have is Courtney Casey, man, against Cynthia Calvillo. Now, both ladies are absolute diamonds. Well, but how do you see these two girls going down at each other? Like, I'll phrase that. How do you see this fight going down? That's a better way to put it. Can you hear me, bro? I think Will's cut off there, ladies and gents. I think his face is all stood still, isn't it? Oh, there he is. Who's there?
I can hear you. No.
The internet was going a bit.
Right. It's good. I think it's actually a fairly decent matchup. Courtney Casey's her record's not flattering, but she's a tough fighter to face. She's a big girl as well for the division, so and she can hit fairly hard. Calvillo's just a kind of dynamite in there as well, to be fair. And she got a big win against Patello last time out, and I picked Patello. I thought Patello was going to give her a little bit of problems. Nope, she got absolutely blown out the water. But when just looking into it a little bit closer, you look at Calvillo's wins, and they're good wins. There's no doubt about it. Some of them are very, very good wins. But her main facet of her game is getting it to the ground and looking for submissions and looking for reversals and just being the dominant fighter on the mat. Montana De La Rosa showed last night that she's very, very decent on the ground. She stopped her there. Pel Gonzalez, Amanda Cooper, I think they're very, very low-level belts in jiu-jitsu. Joanne Calderwood, she's not not back then when they thought she wasn't about the jiu-jitsu game. Now she is. And then the Patello one, she's not a high-ranking jiu-jitsu practitioner either. But Courtney Casey's a brown belt. So she's got a lot more experience and she's been in. I've watched some jiu-jitsu of her and she's decent. The only, I think, stoppage she's got via jiu-jitsu is Rana Marcos in the UFC, I should say, via sub. But I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit worried that Calvillo might. I don't know whether she'll want to stand with Casey a little bit, but I think she's going to find her entries into takedowns being a little bit harder to come by. And it's not saying that Casey's got good takedown defense, because I really don't think she has. But I just think it's going to be a little bit harder for Calvillo to actually find something here. I could be completely wrong. She could blow her out of the water, but I feel more confident picking Calvillo. If she's smart, she gets it to the ground, finds a way to the back, gets a submission. But I just think that Casey will make it a little bit tougher on her. But ultimately, I do see Calvillo getting a submission win, so I'm going to go second round sub for Cynthia.
Yeah, it's one of them ones where, because she's so long, Casey, it's just awkward to get in on her, because she does throw those front kicks. So that kind of puts you off your timing, because you don't want to shoot in when she's throwing that up. So she's a bit tough like that. And obviously, because of her long punches, it's a bit she's awkward to deal with, because she's quite tall for that weight class. I think Cynthia will play it safe at the start. I think she'll just want to stand, get a feel, get Casey comfortable just standing, try and entice her in it, and just suck her into a striking game to kind of take her mind off the takedowns. I say distract her, but she knows the takedown's there anytime. It's what they're training for. But what I mean is try and maybe involve her to try and maybe overextend a bit over the strikes, or throw a couple more strikes at her. So I think that's what she'll want to do to try and get the takedown going. But I'm going to go with third round submission, seeing how you're going with second. Because I do think Cynthia on the ground, she's very good because of Team Alpha Male. They've got that great, something they've always had fundamentally is scrambles. They've always been good at scrambles, getting on top, shooting for guillotines and all sorts. Just they've always been good at recovering, recuperating, and getting a kind of back to a dominant position, or getting back to the feet and not leaving. They don't. It's almost like they drill to not sit still. It's great. I do like that about them. All Calvillo must be is really careful of and cautious of is if she ends up in Casey's guard, because Casey's got those goddamn long ass legs, and they are just ripe for doing arm bars and triangles. So as long as you can stay on sweeps, as long as you can stay out of that, get round to like half guard, side control, she can then start to open up, take the back. But I'll go third round submission for Cynthia. Co-main event next, James Vick versus Paul Felder. Paul Felder is quite funny on this social media at the moment, because he's obviously getting shredded, and he's not even weighed in yet, and he's talking about all the fast food. He's talking about food he wants to eat. But Paul Felder's a really nice guy anyway. Hell of a fight though. This is just a lightweight division. Let's be honest, Will. This lightweight division, it's got. You could put James Vick's name there, and you could probably put another 10 guys there that will make absolute fantastic fights in that division. That's what's so exciting about it. And we've got one here, James Vick coming off a loss to Justin Gaethje, which was a rough knockout and a surprise as well. I think he just went a bit over. I think he was a bit overconfident, cocksure of himself. I don't understand confidence, but I also understand not just having respect, but just being smart when you fight. And I think that just, it might benefit him, it might not. We'll find out. But especially because he's going against Paul Felder. Paul Felder, knowledgeable, accurate, powerful striker. He is an aggressive man. Like when he goes in there, he's got a fire in him, and it's hard to fight Paul Felder because he's so tough. Broke his arm against bloody Perry and just lost the fight. He didn't get battered. Like, he broke his arm and still punched him. He didn't lose. It was like, what the hell at welterweight? So I don't even look at that as a loss. I even see that as a win. I know it sounds funny and stupid to say it, but it is. I think if his arm wasn't broken, he probably would have lit Mike Perry up like Christmas Day. But yeah, man, I'm going Paul Felder here because I think one thing that Felder has got is ridiculous power. And he showed in the Edson Barboza fight that because what was good about Edson Barboza and him was they just kept going for 3 rounds. Spinning moves, power moves. They were cracking for 3 rounds. So James Vick has got to be on his toes for 3 rounds. He cannot switch off. The problem is Paul Felder could switch him off. We've seen if Felder gets on top, the ground and pound that Felder has is ridiculous. Like, he is so powerful with his ground and pound. Gets in the clinch, you're in danger. I think James Vick is a dangerous man himself. He's long, rangy, pain in the arse. He's got good kicks, front kicks. Sorry, because of the length of head kicks. But James Vick, for me, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. I just think Felder's a little bit smarter, a little bit more powerful, a little bit quicker with the combinations. I think Felder's going to get the win here. I think he can get. I'm going to give James Vick the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him some respect. I'm going to say Felder can get a stoppage. He can, but I'm going to say decision win for Felder. But I think I would not be surprised if Felder stopped James Vick. Not on the feet, maybe just ground and pound. Ends up on the ground and Felder just lets those elbows release on him. But yeah, I'm going to go Felder decision because I don't think he'll do any spinning back fists in this one. I think he'll be smart.
Yeah. A really good matchup, actually. I think it's especially after what happened with James Vick last time out against Justin Gaethje. Look, the guy's 6'3". He has got tall man kind of defense, and if you leave your chin out there, and the guy's got he's one of the guys over the years that, in fact, we were in Glasgow. Remember Paul Felder, his weight cut? That was rough. That was rough. I've got a picture of Paul Felder. He was leaning over a stool, and he was hurting after his weight cut. And I think it was the night before.
It was at Fox. We were sat with because he was with Craig Eckelberg and the two of them, and we were. I think we were with Duke. I think we were with Duke Rufus. Yeah.
And he came down. He looked worse for wear. But I remember being in Vegas when Vick fought Glaico Franca, and geez, that guy's got a hellish weight cut. He looks terrible. I saw him the night before, and it was actually kind of scary, kind of seeing how gaunt that dude is. But he's 6'3". He's a beanpole. It's going to happen if you're fighting at that division. And he just got caught with that. Let's be honest, it was an absolute brutal knockout against Justin Gaethje. Got caught with a couple of massive shots, and it was lights out. I think he's took the right amount of time off, got himself ready, and got to get him back in here. And I've been kind of flip-flopping in this. Initial pick was James Vick. I think I said even before going here, I think I was on Felder's side. But I'm going to go back to my initial pick. Just think about it over the last hour. And so I said to you earlier on, I think he's got the kind of game plan that could frustrate Paul Felder. Use that length that he's got. Kind of like, you seen what he was like against Trinaldo. Trinaldo, he didn't want to engage too much. He fought at length. He used his length well, and that frustrated Francisco Trinaldo. Now, Trinaldo had some spots in that fight with takedowns. I think he landed 3 or 4 takedowns. So there's opportunities there for Paul Felder if he wants to get it. But in the past, Paul Felder he's very gung-ho, head in your chest, looking to throw down. And I think that James Vick could just use the length and fight at distance and really frustrate Paul Felder and win via decision. But if Paul Felder can catch him with that one shot, I think it could be lights out, honestly. But I'm going to go James Vick. I feel a wee bit more. It was my initial gut pick when I heard about the fight. When I watched the fight, I think it can be close in ways, but I just think he's got the kind of output or the kind of game plan that could really frustrate Felder, and I think that's maybe what it might come down to. And Felder, I don't want to say he's moving away from his fighting career, because he's obviously not, because he's taking fights, but he's got the whole commentating gig, but he still wants to win fights on top of that. But I'm going to go James Vick via decision.
Yeah, he's been smart. He said it himself. He says, obviously, I can't do this forever, so I'm just trying to get ahead of the game, get myself in there. So, yeah, something after. Like Bisping was the same. You know, Gilbert Melendez. Look, Gilbert Melendez, like, he's pretty much, what's going on with him? You know, he does so much media work. I'm surprised he has time to train that much. But anyway, main event. Francis Ngannou gets a 5-round fight against the returning Cain Velasquez. Will. Heard the rumors going through. Crazy that it's happened. I thought Cain might have got not a gimme fight, but like an easier welcome back bout, because he's had 2 fights since 2013. Two fights. What are you looking in this fight? What are you seeing, Will? What do you think is going to happen with this one?
He's only. I don't want to say he's only 36, but he's 36-year-old in the heavyweight division, which is not really super old in that division. And we know if Cain Velasquez, if the old Cain Velasquez shows up in any way, shape, or form, that he could have the belt round his waist if DC has not got it. So that's pretty plain and simple, actually. But the guy's been not active at all. But when we have seen him, I mean, the Verdum fight, I called that when I thought Verdum was going to catch him. He did. Then he went out and absolutely beat the brakes off Travis Brown at UFC 200. But since then, I think he had another addition to his family. He's been getting all his injuries cleared up, and now he's felt ready to come back, and he's taken on whatever you say about the guy, he is the most intimidating fight in that division because he's so big. He's a genetic freak. He's got speed. He's got ultimate, really fast reflexes, punches, speed, you name it. He's just a rough guy to face. But we know the blueprint to beat this guy. Stipe Miocic showed it. And I don't want to say Cain Velasquez is a mirror of Stipe Miocic because he's not. But we all know that if he shows up prime Cain Velasquez and he is injury-free and he's good to go, if he doesn't get hit with a shot here, he is going to absolutely maul Francis Ngannou. But people were saying that about Curtis Blades last time as well, and he got starched in 20 seconds. If you give it's even scary. I find it scary watching Ngannou, even that 20 seconds he showed against Blades, because he had like the wide stance, and you can just see the power the guy has. It's crazy the amount of power and speed that he has. But it's all about if Cain doesn't get hit with a shot, he is going to work Francis Ngannou, and he's going to drain him just like Stipe did. Hold on to him, eventually get him down, and he's not going to stop with that ground and pound. He's going to keep banging it out. About 2 weeks ago, I was thinking quite a bit. Well, it wasn't. It was when we were kind of the longer break, 3 weeks or whatever it was. I was thinking about this fight, and I was thinking, right, has Ngannou, and he's like a big underdog. He's plus 200. Has he got a shot? Obviously, he's got a shot because he's got that power, that one shot, and he turns your light off, and that's the heavyweights. They hit big. But then, the closer the fight's got, I'm siding more on Cain Velasquez, just hoping he's fit, he's ready to go. He's fighting in his alma mater, like Arizona, where he was at university there. He was a massive star in Arizona. And it's all about not getting caught. If he doesn't get caught and gets through that first round, I think he can absolutely work the brakes off Francis Ngannou, and I think he'll get a stoppage. So I'm going to go the Brown Pride, Cain Velasquez, and the comeback. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Cain Velasquez is, I've not been like a huge fan, but you've got to respect the guy, and he's beaten a lot of good guys. He's beaten a lot of kind of the Brock Lesnar thing. The hype to that fight was humongous. Just a shame about injuries and everything, but he's still one of the best ever heavyweights the UFC's ever had. So I'm going to go Cain Velasquez, a second round TKO.
Second round, check you out.
Yeah.
Well, it's 5 rounds.
Yeah.
My worry with this fight is I didn't watch it back again, but Derek Lewis Francis fight.
No, don't watch that back.
No one ever watched that. No one. If you've never watched it, don't watch it. I'm saving you 15 minutes. It was dog shit. But do I think that Francis might be cautious of it being 5 rounds? That is my worry. Because if he goes with that mindset, he's going to be really hesitant to pull the trigger. For me, the only way he's going to win is by pulling the trigger. That's the only way he's going to win. He's not going to out-wrestle He's not going to out-wrestle. He's not going to beat him with grappling, submission game, because he's not going to be that dominant. He's not going to get the opportunity to. So he's got to land the strikes. He's got to hurt Cain. And I think for me, the key is the first 2 minutes of Francis. Cain's going to be wanting to get his feet back on the ground, get the pace, get the range, get his movement. He's going to want to feel comfortable again. He's been out for 3 years, I think it is, whatever it is, 3 years since the last 4. So it's big fight for him. So Francis needs to be hit. If I'm Francis, I'm going at Cain hard. I don't care. I'm blowing my load for 2 minutes. I'm going for Cain Velasquez hard. I'm going to try and put him away because we don't know how Cain will take a punch. We don't know how Cain will react to getting hit. He's been out for so long. Like I said, 2 fights in 6 years. It's a long time. It is a long time, mate, on your body. That just like interesting, man. It's I know he trains with Cain, DC. I know the two of them, like two peas in a pod. But man, it's interesting. If I'm Cain Velasquez, I take a bit of a leaf out of Stipe's book and weather the storm, but I don't want to weather the storm where I'm potentially getting hit. I don't want that to happen. So if I'm Cain Velasquez, I'll probably shoot in earlier. I would be shooting in earlier. I'd be waiting for Cain to come, Francis to come and strike, and I'd be shooting in as soon as possible. I'd be initiating that grappling exchange from the get-go. Because as soon as you start exchanging that grappling, we've seen that energy deplete like so fast for Francis Ngannou. If I'm Cain Velasquez, I want to get in there fast with it. I've got to favour Cain Velasquez just because you look at his resume. You know, he's just so knowledgeable. He's fought the who's who. He can take a hit. You know, I know he got stopped by Junior Santos in the first one, but the second time him and JDS fought, he did take a few hits. He still came coming, and he's got a fat head. Let's be honest, Cain Velasquez got a massive head. It's disgusting how big that head is. So to be fair, it's going to be hard for Francis not to hit him in the face. It's so big, such a big target to aim at. But yeah, if Cain loses, it's a shame. But then again, I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. Everyone will be like, look, he fought Francis Ngannou, who's a freak. He's been out for so long. It's not the end of the world. If Francis wins, if I'm Francis Ngannou, I'll be like, oh, I want another title shot, blah, 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 maybe. If I'm DC, I'd be like, yeah, give me Francis for my last fight. I want Francis. I want to avenge Cain's loss. And then DC was ragdoll him with wrestling. But yeah, I'm going to go with Cain. I'm going to go third, fourth round TKO. Because I'm going to give Francis a benefit of doubt. I think he's learned a lot from the Stipe fight in regards to conditioning. I think he maybe last a bit longer, hold out a bit longer. But I think Cain will just be able to ragdoll him enough in the second and third to just wear Cain out. Where I think Cain's better at the wrestling than Stipe. I think Stipe was smart where he just put his weight on him. I think Cain be active in that role where he can hold the hip and posture, lay some striking down. So yeah, I'm going to Cain Velasquez, stoppage, third, fourth round. And with Cain winning, I think Cain will then maybe get the winner of Overeem and Volkov after St. Petersburg, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably the match-up to make, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah. So that's the fight I might see. We might see next.
Yeah.
I do not want to see Junior Santos, Cain Velasquez 4. No thanks. No thanks. No one needs to see that again. But anyway, that's the fights. That's the picks. We're going to go now to our bets. And Will, what do you see on this fight card for people at home to maybe put some money on? And Will, the internet again.
I say it's a hard fight card betting on, but I've not got any bets yet, and I'm looking at the betting odds now. And James Vick's an underdog, but like I said, I think that could end up being close. Even though I said it, I think that he could fight. I just think it's going to be a close fight, kind of like the Trinaldo fight. I think Calvillo is a good kind of parlay piece if you want to put it in there with someone, I don't know. Kron Gracie's minus 350. If you're super high in Kron Gracie, like a lot of people are, you might put them two together and parlay them up.
What about Manny Bermudez sub? Kron Gracie sub.
That'd be going out there. If you've got a little bit of money and you want to throw it on that, it's not a bad thing because both guys are going to be. That's the way they're going to be looking to win the fight. I don't know what the odds would be on that, but. Honestly, I might look at Cain Velasquez because I think Francis Ngannou, we're into, we've got Sunday this week, so I can see money coming in Francis because we know that big one-shot power can make it look easy.
And what are the odds? What are the odds for Cain?
Cain Velasquez right now is minus 200. Francis Ngannou, I thought he was plus 200. I think he's plus 195 in the UK, but in America he's plus 170. So there's a little bit of a differential there regarding odds. So we've got a little bit of we've got a better line over here just now, but like Vick and Felder, Vick is plus 105. I think he's plus 120 over here, so that's not a bad pick. I'm kind of struggling a little bit. Vicente Luque, in fact, let me just check what his odds in the UK are because I think he's a good parlay piece for for this card here. Him via stoppage, I think would be you get very, very decent odds on as well. So Vicente Luque, he is -300. A good parlay piece if you're into that kind of thing like I am. I like parlays. I nailed 2 last night with Kai Kara-France, who I actually think lost last night. I'll be honest. I watched that fight. That Julian Paiva, it's a really good fight. I thought he won that fight. So I had Kai Kara-France and Kyung Ho Kang, which was a great fight. And then I had Fabian Edwards and Montana De La Rosa. So I cashed 2 parlays and then I cashed Ricky Simone straight, which was nice. No bets. I am struggling. This is going to be one of these fight cards where I'll let it progress through the week and I'll see what I see by maybe Thursday or Friday if there's something that I like. But nothing jumps out.
What about Luke Sanders? What's his odds at the moment?
Oh, no. I'm not throwing money on him. No way. I cannot trust that guy. No fucking way can I trust that guy.
Okay. I'm gonna go crazy. All right. What have I said? Luke Sanders, Cain Velasquez.
Oh, see, like what I think with parlay pieces is you're wanting 2-3 pieces that you think are super solid. The way I look at parlays for me, I try and get parlays that I can get as close to plus money as possible. I don't really bet anything over -300. I think once you start parlaying 400s, 500s, like Adesanya 600s, you're dicing with fire because all it takes is one fighter to do something special, and that's it. So I never. My top is -300. Like Fabian Edwards was -305. I thought, and he closed at -550. So there was value on my bet. Montana De La Rosa was -250. I think it came to -116. So I'm not on plus money, but I'm close to it. I like bets like that. Kai Kara-France, Kyung Ho Kang, I got for -108 with their odds combined. Cain Velasquez, I think, has got a high chance to win. Luke Sanders.
Your internet's gone again, bro. Your internet's jumpy, skipping like a broken record is what you're doing. Go on, Will. Come back to us, folks. Sorry about this. Scottish internet. That's what we call it. Jockney's internet is cutting out there.
No, I've got it. It's back now. It just jumped out for a second.
So Luke Sanders, you said Cain Velasquez and Luke Sanders, and then it started going.
Yeah. It's just Cain Velasquez, and I think he can win pretty convincingly if he gets the game plan right, like he should. And then there's Luke Sanders that you just don't know what you're going to get. So you could put, if you're confident in Manny Bermudez and Cain Velasquez, you could get plus money for that. Cynthia Calvillo, Cain Velasquez might not be a bad one either. But like
and outside the park one, Alex Caceres win.
Yeah, Alex Caceres by sub.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Wouldn't that be the best? That'd be the best. That would be the best thing ever.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Oh, you're going again? Oh, you're in there's going again. What's going on? Hey, put 50 pence back in the beer. There you go. He's joined the video call. Oh my gosh, it really has kicked him out here. You're in there's going proper Pete Tong there, Will. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. His internet's going a bit funky. And now he's turned his. There you are. You're back again.
Yeah. It turned everything off. Literally turned everything off. So, but yeah, that'd be crazy. Him by sub. If you've got a 5 or 10 that you like, just throwing away, throw it in that. You throw in a dart. You never know what might happen. But
let's have a look at that.
It's a tough. I think it's a tough fight card for betting actually. So yeah.
It is. It's going to be fun though.
Yeah, it is.
So
fun
if you get any bets on, that you put them down below.
Yeah.
Anything you feel you want to ask, questions below on YouTube. We interact as much as we can, respond back as soon as we can. Because I have my personal YouTube and this one. So I usually have on my usual one. And so my personal one's usually on my phone. So I do miss the messages sometimes until the evening. So, but I do my best to respond back. Will as well. You see him message back as well.
Yeah.
So we do our best. We do our best. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for tuning in. Enjoy the fights. We will enjoy the fights. We'll be back after this for UFC Prague. Well, we won't. Well, we'll record it before this card, but we'll be back next for UFC Prague. Yeah, UFC Prague's next up. Some cracking fights on that card. So yeah, we'll be speaking to you all then.